Hello, everyone. Welcome to Telling Tales. I was in the wrong tab, which means there's probably a good 2 or 3 seconds of me just blankly staring at the screen there. That's just a little treat for you. For those of you who that might be your kink, I don't know. Whatever, we're happy to provide it. Hello, we are slightly walking wounded Telling Tales tonight. A couple of us suffering from minor health issues, but we're braving on regardless because that's our commitment to content and to you. There we go. There will be a cat around tonight because he's frisky and a menace. I assure you, you will find it cute. It is anything but. He has murder knives on the ends of his hands, and all he wants to do is cuddle and gently disembowel me while I'm trying to stream a role-playing game, which is quite intensive. So, feel free to say, "Oh, cat," but also just feel sorry for me. That's all I want. That's all I want from you tonight. Symbaroum. It's Wednesday. That's what we do on Wednesdays. Before I start bringing on people for recaps of what has gone on in previous sessions, let's do the usual promo. If you check down below this video, you will find links to YouTube and links to Twitch. You're watching this on one of those websites. Please do check us out on the other one. Twitch is where we stream live. YouTube is where all our archives are stored, and there's quite a lot of stuff on there now. If you want to go browse, well, I mean, not right now. Don't go browse it right now. Watch this. But after you've done that, go browse all our stuff. Watch it all in order. It just back to back. Don't eat, don't sleep, don't drink. Just do that because that's what we're all here for. There's also links to our Patreon, our Discord, and our social media. Please do check those out if those interest you. We currently run 2 campaigns on a weekly basis here on Twitch. Wednesdays is Symbaroum, of course. And Mondays is Vason, the Fria Ligan Victoriana folk horror investigatory stuff, which Johnny and crew are running on Mondays. We also do one-shots about once a month, but we're sort of trying to scale them up to 2 a month sometime soon. And even though there's been none in March, there's 2 in April, and I call that 2 a month one-shot. Definitely not 1 a month with one of them delayed. Don't think about that part of it. So on, I believe, the 1st of April. Is it the 1st of April? Yeah, I think so. We're doing Dungeon World, which is a sequel that Pierre will be running. If you want to watch the first one of those, that's on YouTube. And then towards the end of April, we'll be running Goblin Quest, which I'm doing with a bunch of fun players, a couple of which are on this very stream. So yeah, join us for those 2. And if you want to check out any of the previous ones where we've run 1,000 different systems, they're all on YouTube, as you might expect. Right, that's enough promo. The cat has left the room, even though I brought his bed in here and his food. So now he's going to go out there and complain. I'll stop complaining about the cat because I could go all night. So instead, I will bring on Chris, who's going to give us the kind of meta recap story so far of I better click on his cam then. Story so far of the Witch Hammer. Hi, Chris.
Hello, everyone, and hello, Matt.
Hi. This is like being on old streams and videos with me, Chris, where I didn't know what I was doing and I overcompensated for it with mindless gabbing enthusiasm.
Well, I'm delighted to take over the mindless gabbing for the next couple of minutes anyway. Yeah. And I wanted to give a quick kind of Steel's eye view of what's happened over the last couple of months.
Yes.
So Steel had kind of drunk through a lot of his money and was kind of starting to casually look for work again. And we ended up taking on the old crew got together and ended up taking a job to basically walk to Carvosti via some purported sites of elven activity with Ganderald, our kind of Ordo Magica handler / semi-friend. So we did that and spent some time in Carvosti, basically doing the tourist thing. And after some time, there was a bit of commotion, and one thing led to another, and we ended up spending a little bit of time trying to work out what happened to a certain not Elmendra. No, Elmendra's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. It is right. Yeah, trying to figure out the whereabouts of a certain Elmendra for a couple of reasons. Maybe for some of the younger or poorer members of the group, because rumor has it she found the city of Symbar, the titular capital and no doubt hoard of very wealthy objects. For Steo, I suppose, Steo had been instructed to go to Carvosti and get some instructions from the Iron Pacts to assist further with preventing corruption and preventing the preventing Ambrians from biting off more than they can chew from the forest. So, unfortunately, his ability to hang around Carvosti and wait for a handler to appear stopped. So he decided to assist in this plan. He also wanted to go to this. One of our leads led us to New Earthmore, which is a kind of goddess worshipping settlement in the far east of the forest. And he was kind of interested to see that, as Steele's been learning a lot more about different faiths and ways of living since migrating into the north and trying to recalibrate his life. So that kind of brings us up to date. We went to New Earthmore. It was a disaster. We are now going to one of the other purported sites of Elmendra's locale, which we're basically doing because it's on the way, and because we have reason to believe that other people went there and came back relatively alive. So we're a bit more confident than we were previously. So that's where Steo is, kind of physically and I suppose spiritually.
Emotionally, financially.
Steo is dead.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Sure. Let's bring on the other players, and I'll give like a quick recap of what happened last session, and then we'll move on. So let's move on, and it's worth noting, by the way, because we almost completely forgot to say that Chris plays Steo, former infantryman and city guard turned sellsword. But let's move on with Mike. Mike plays Father Anton, Theurg of Prios, and kind of healer, holy man, do-gooder. And occasionally receiver of goblin crotch punches.
Yeah, I'd like to emphasize the healing part now, because
more than the others.
It's just yes, for that reason, but also because Anton has just skilled up his healing repertoire a little bit.
Yes, he has. Do you want to talk about the ability you just bought? Mystic power, I should say.
It's a mystic power. It's called Lay on Hands. It means that Anton can heal with the power of touch. And at this point, we will allow 5 minutes for people to make jokes about priests touching people, and then we will just draw a line under it, and it will never, ever be mentioned again.
Famously, our group and our chat lets things go like that. Right. Definitely.
We can trust them to do that.
Yeah, and they definitely don't cross over between systems either.
Yeah, right.
So would you say Anton now has a bad habit?
I like that. I like that.
That's
Matt
choice.
I liked it.
That's your choice of a priest joke or a Offspring reference. So no one is even grinning at that in the thing. No one gets that. It's fine. It's fine. So let's bring on our next player, which is Stephen. Stephen plays Alindra, former Templar novice turned smacker of dark and troublesome things with a big sword. Hi, Stephen.
Hello.
How is Alindra?
How is Alindra? Alindra's doing okay. Yeah, she's I think sort of still probably pretty beaten up from last session. So slightly dreading what's to come.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there's nothing bad in Fire Marine. I'm sure.
No, I'm sure fine. It's a tourist trap, right? Like we'll just
exactly.
Gift shop, it'd be fine.
Yeah, gift shop.
I mean, emphasis on the trap of tourist trap.
Yes,
I see what you did there.
Yeah, it's just one big pit with spikes with a load of tourists impaled on it. Okay, let's bring on John. John is the player of Sir Arindar, last surviving member of House Star, duelist, cat fancier, and sort of you keep wrinkling. You do know that cat fancier doesn't mean you fancy cats, right?
It's just the way you say it. There's something about it.
It sounds better than cat aficionado. That's,
Cat enthusiast.
yeah.
Cat
yeah.
enthusiast, though.
I'm not sure that's better. I think that is at best a clunky portmanteau. I'm sorry to say.
Well, like a clunkmanteau.
Fine. Good stream,
Chris
everyone.
enjoyed
We
that.
also have Sam, who is our final player tonight. He plays Askarai, Changeling, Scout, Archer, Ranger, if you will, and dealer of the highest DPS in the group by some margin, I should imagine. Hi, Sam.
Hello. I just want to say I'm happy to be brought on last so that I can distance myself from the jokes that happen prior to when I come on stream. So I'm not involved with anything that has occurred prior to this in the stream. Nothing to do with me. I had
Not
no part of that.
associated. You want to distance yourself from these individuals.
I do not condone any of the jokes or puns that have happened so far. From now on, fine. You can hold me responsible. But prior to this, I'm absolved of all.
How do you think I feel coming on first?
Bad.
It's a terrible look for me. I look like I'm tacitly supporting these people.
Yeah, it does look like that. I have to say, it does look like that. I can't argue.
Feels like you're less sympathizing with me, Sam, and more accusing me. But that's fine.
Nothing to do with me. I'm on last. Nothing to do with me.
You are the one that brought us together, Matt. So, you knew what you should have known what you were letting yourself in for.
I've never brought anyone together in my life. I'm at best a kind of inanimate black hole drawing everyone towards certain doom. So, speaking of certain doom, let's talk about the events of the last session of Symbaroum. You travelled up from the Sun Temple as close to a tourist trap as you're going to kind of get in the depths of Davokar, the kind of now almost semi-legendary ruin that seems to indicate worship of Prios in this area long before the arrival of the Ambrians, though you had your doubts about it. But it was a good place to stop and kind of take stock before you travelled up north. You also got some directions that told you to kind of head north for a few days, circle around a large swamp, and there you would find Fire Maroon, apparently a ruin of some size. You set off, and the only real sort of incident on the way was you finding a few pillars of jewel-like material called etacops, inhabited by fearsome bladed insects called etamites. And after some debate, where some people kind of prove themselves to be cowards, that's all I'm saying, you decided as a group to kind of mine these etacops to see what you could get from them while being attacked by the etamites. And you did all right, all told. I think we settled on... I did, in fact, calculate it, I believe, as the haul I think we settled on was 5.5 thaler per person once it's sold, which isn't bad for like a 10 minutes work. Maybe it would have been more if there hadn't been so many of you, but then maybe you wouldn't have got so much if there weren't so many of you. So
maybe it will be more after
some people die.
Thin the numbers down, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure Alindra is thinking along those lines anyway, being the anti-conscience of the group. So
she's lovely, really.
She's lovely. You did eventually reach the edges of the swamp, and I believe you set up camp overnight there. And the only other incident from last week was right at the very end, where two of you on watch, I think Anton and Stio. Yes. You didn't hear it, but DeGesto heard it, your treasure hunting companion, as he woke up in the middle of the night. A strange kind of wailing, droning song coming from across the swamp from the direction of Far Maroon, kind of echoing up into the uncaring stars above. Probably nothing, probably fine, probably nothing to worry about in Far Maroon. And that is exactly where we will pick up. I say that, but we will pick up when the morning comes. Yeah. Everyone rises. I'm assuming Steo and Anton DeGesto is certainly going to tell everyone what he heard overnight. I don't know if anyone wants to discuss that or just kind of go, right?
Yeah. Shame we don't have Ganderald with us. He might have been able to shed some light on what that is.
Maybe.
I'm not even sure I want to know.
Well, we're going to find out regardless, aren't we?
Exactly.
As I feel, we just prepare for the worst.
Always a good plan.
Do you think was the plan anyway, really? So with that in mind, I assume we're striking out to the north towards Symbaroum. I'm also assuming, but again, maybe just a big dumb old GM assumption, that we are not going through the swamp, that we are circling the swamp.
I think we might also try and do some more healing though before we go, right? Because we've got some injured members of the party.
Sure, absolutely. And it's worth noting as well, of course, as I described, that snow, very late winter snow or early spring snow had started to fall as well. And that has partially settled. Like, it's not deep on the ground, but every foot has a slight crunch to it as you move around. But yeah, speaking of healing, I guess there's some natural healing to be done, but also maybe some laying on of hands from Anton and his new power, right?
Yeah. Which I will give a go with
Elindra, I assume?
Elindra, probably, yeah.
Yeah, sure. How are you introducing the fact that you, and I know this is me just putting you on the spot as someone who has said to my players, no, it's fine to just buy things ad hoc and then start them. And then immediately, as soon as you do so, go, yeah, and how do you explain this to your companions, you freak?
Classic asshole GM.
Yeah. But how do you have had some travels away from the group recently, perhaps? You learned it there, but didn't bother doing it after the fight with Thunderbird?
Maybe you just leveled up in the Sun Temple.
I think maybe like you could, yeah. I was thinking like the Sun Temple makes sense as like somewhere where
to your faith.
Yeah, like, and maybe Anton has sort of come away from that experience just feeling a bit more connected to Prios, and has been, or maybe overnight had some vision or dream of how he could harness that.
I like that. I like the idea of kind of having a dream and feeling like something in you has become connected.
Maybe it could be with the recent news and discussion around the dying sun and the Templars. Maybe their doubt is pushing you closer towards your faith.
And your version of the faith as being not even just different from the Knights of Dead Prios, but the opposite, in that you interpret Prios in quite an old-fashioned way, that you realize now that there are elements of the church who still feel that way. And obviously we are familiar with your work for Disable the Old, but there will be more to come about that when we finally do that flashback, which I have not forgotten about.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I was absolutely certain that you had forgotten about it.
I have not forgotten about it.
Yeah. Right. After all that, hilarious when I roll a 20 on this. Shit, it's a 17.
Guess you don't have to explain it yet then, huh? You might have to explain why you're suddenly touching Elindra.
Classic Anton.
That ain't good. Well, my faith is shattered. Prios is dead.
You could spend an XP to try and hide the embarrassment of the situation.
I could do, couldn't I?
The reason to spend XP in this game to avoid embarrassment. Could you? Haven't you just spent all your XP on it?
No, I've got XP left over.
Okay.
I've got like 4 XP.
It's up to you. I mean, you could just say that you attempted it with Elindra, but nothing was working.
I will.
So you just did a normal Medicus roll.
I will spend the XP.
That is one doomed XP.
No, it's worked. I rolled a 9.
Oh my god. All right then. Well, why don't you describe the process of this? And you don't have to clumsily explain why you're suddenly late, unless Elindra is like, "What the hell are you doing?" I suppose. But like, yeah. Why do you explain kind of what it looks like when Anton does this? Like, I'm assuming like that it would feel like warmth coming from Anton's hands, you know, but like,
that's how I envisage it. And like, I think that Anton is just like kind of almost silently, but just with a small amount of breath, just uttering some prayers, just very, very quietly, and just simply like one hand on the wound.
Yeah, so it could feel like just giving a blessing or something. But
right, that is how I envisage it. Like, and like I like not like, you know, eyes rolled back in the head or anything like that. Just just
just calmly
looking at the wound. Hand on the wound,
calmly invoking the will of the Lord of life and kind of warmth. Elindra, I would definitely say that as a Templar novice, you've almost certainly experienced the laying on of hands before, or at least seen it being done, so it won't be like an alien concept to you at all.
Cool.
So what's the anti-damage, Mike?
I think it's 1d6.
I think it is as well for novice level.
It is 1d6. Heal 2 points.
It's a start.
Thank you, Father. That's new.
That's Prios working through me.
I really thought you were going to say that's Prios. And I'm very glad you didn't, and I'm very ashamed that I did.
For the record,
so how screwed is Elindra at this stage now? Health points
so
wise?
I made a dice roll while we were talking before because it's a new day. So
Recovery.
Elindra has also done her recovery roll for the day, and earned 2 points from that, and I guess a point from sleeping.
Yeah.
So that's 5 points in total up. She's looking pretty decent now.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So given we've kind of agreed on one attempt at Medicus per day per character, I won't waste that when we're probably going up against some unspeakable Gribbly in the afternoon.
Yeah, sure. That seems fair. As you're doing that, Anton, DeGesto kind of stomps around behind you and sort of peers over your shoulder, and as you are done and kind of like removing your hand, says, "That's a good trick, priest."
Hopefully, one that we don't need to make use of.
Handy to have out here, though. Don't do it too much, though. I've seen some priests go a bit wrong from pushing themselves with that stuff.
Yep. It is the edge of the sword between the Lord's light and the corruption.
Well, that's a more poetic way of putting it than I did. He kind of coughs up a bit of phlegm and spits it out on the forest floor. Not in he's an old man, or older man, he's in his late 50s or so. That's what happens. I'm telling you, young people watching this, you've got it all to look forward to. Everyone seems to, all the kind of non-player characters seem to be kind of packed up and ready for the journey to the north.
Just side-eyeing DeGesto after he made that kind of awkward cough. Does he look like bits of him are hanging off, or is he in good nick as well?
No, he looks fine. He's barely taken a scratch on him, honestly, since you. I think he took maybe one slight wound from one of Thunderbird's raiders, but that was almost weeks ago now. Like he's in good shape. A couple of his fortune hunters, specifically one of them. The woman who I think I said I had to retreat because of the poison, she's still looking a little bit worse for wear. You're on mute, friend.
I'm going to go ahead and do. Are you tracking health? Because I wouldn't mind doing a on her.
I am tracking their health.
Great, because I suppose I have got a bit of a relationship with her now as we both fled. So I'll go and see if I can. I was probably responsible for some of her bandages earlier. Maybe I will have another crack now.
I think people did take a look at them.
So this is, if I remember correctly, a cunning roll.
It is indeed a cunning roll.
And
no extra effect.
Hit it.
Go ahead and roll.
I'm not going to use a herbal cure because at the end of the day, this is an NPC. Plus, I have Medicus level 2. Oh, you hate to see it.
You hate to see it.
I'm making slightly better.
When you kind of like reapply the bandages and maybe put some mild packing back in the wound, she kind of says that she appreciates it and that feels much better, but you kind of sense from the wince on her face that much better may not be much better.
Matt, before we hurl ourselves into certain danger and inevitably start losing people,
I don't know what you mean, but go on.
Is it worth just like doing the housekeeping of figuring out like that bag of Etterkoppel?
Oh yeah, Stephen was pretty keen on figuring out who was carrying that in the
on
the
Discord.
Discord.
I just think if we like all the previous groups that came up to 4-hour Marine, like not all of them came back. So at some point we're going to need to know where it is.
Absolutely,
in case it's on someone that doesn't.
There were definitely discussions that happened after the incident with the Etermites, and I talked about this on backstage Discords to these folks. DeGesto is perfectly happy for one person to carry it, and is perfectly happy for that person to not be one of his crew. So, if you have a preference, he's more than happy to.
If nobody else seems especially keen to carry it, then sure, Elindra will.
You or Revelia?
Well, Revelia's not carrying anything, is she? At all?
Not strictly speaking. No, just her gear, but
she's got a belt of beast fangs. Yeah, okay, yeah. Let's turn Revelia into our
Squire can squire it up.
Yeah,
absolutely. Sure, she will gladly take it on and kind of like takes the pack and kind of makes sure it's buckled properly and like sort of pats it and slings it on her side so it's like against her hip at the back. So if she needs to draw her weapons, it won't kind of get in the way of that. And then I take it we're setting out to circumnavigate the swamp, which leads to a bit of a question: west or east? I'm going to tell you there's very little immediate visual difference.
I'd rather go west because that's less into Davakar than east.
Even if just slightly.
Yeah.
Sure.
For the same reason that when we were going up and down the river, we kind of quite like the idea of the South Bank.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. And you can set off going to the west like that. Ascarai, I'm going to assume that you are leading as you usually do. Would that be safe to say?
Yep.
Who do we think would be at the front of the main group? Like the person closest to Ascarai who could potentially flag anything they think is incorrect in his decision making. Do we think it would be one of this group or maybe one of DeGesto's group? What do we think? Does anyone have any thoughts on that?
I think it maybe makes sense for like one of DeGesto's people, and that might be DeGesto himself, to be at the front as well. Like you would have your two best scouts near the front, maybe one from our group, one from their group.
Sure, absolutely. I don't know if we consider DeGesto to be.
We know he's very sneaky, don't we?
He's very sneaky and he's very experienced. So, yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'm happy with it being DeGesto. In which case, Ascarai, I would like you to roll cunning, please. And I will make a similar cunning roll for DeGesto as a kind of second chance, as it were. Okay. How did you do?
I rolled a 2, so I made it.
DeGesto rolled a 3, so both of you did make it comfortably. Yeah, as soon as you kind of make it down to the kind of basin that the swamp is on within Davakar, you see that there is not a terribly fine line between the swamp and the more solid land. You know, there's a big stretch of what looks solid, but is in fact cold muddy, sodden mire that's kind of covers maybe 10 to 20 meters at points between what is visibly swamp and what is visibly dry land. But you spot that early. You move around the side of it, and as you're doing so, you kind of look back and see DeGesto give you like a confident nod and sort of prodding a bit near his foot with near one foot with the other foot to kind of test the firmness of the ground. And you manage to kind of move around that sodden mire pretty comfortably. Keep an eye on it as you carry on traveling through the day. And I'm going to say it's probably around 3 hours walk to kind of circumnavigate that swamp and come round as you're coming ever closer to Symbaroum. And let me do a lovely quick description of Symbaroum for you, which is indeed somewhere. Yes, it is an enormous overgrown ruin complex which seems to be in quite bad shape. Apart from some parts of the facade around the edges, all that you can see is left through kind of gaps in that facade are the walls on the bottom floor, sometimes, but not often, with the ceiling intact. The eroded inner walls look to be about 4.5 meters high and are covered with vines and moss. You also catch glimpses occasionally of what look like large doors of steel and bronze on the inside. You also spot, as you kind of move around the ruin, because I'm assuming that you're like the back of the ruin is, well, you know what? I think now is the point at which, no, I've changed my mind. You see a couple of places, he said, needing to double check something. You definitely see a couple of places as you approach from the southwest, which are places to gain ingress into the ruins, right past the walls, places where the walls have crumbled. You also see that the south edge of the ruins, the one you're approaching, the southeast of the ruins, is in the swamp. The swamp comes up to the walls, and it seems probably quite difficult to make your way in there. There's a bit of like a sort of rivulet, like a small, very slow, sludgy stream that travels up a kind of like an intentionally open gap on the south wall of Symbaroum, and that may well lead to another way inside as well. As you're approaching the southwest of Symbaroum, are we intending to kind of close on the walls, circle around a bit, or completely circle the place to kind of check out all of the surroundings and the facade? It's fairly obvious as you approach the south side that the south side is not the front of the ruins. Like, it has nothing that looks like a main doorway, assuming this ruin had a main doorway back in its day, which seems a fair bet given the size of it.
How's the kind of kinetics of scaling this wall or finding a way through a gap, or is there a way to get in? That's
yeah. There are a couple of places you could definitely get inside the ruin from where you're looking, which makes you think there's probably other places as well. Like if you looked around the entire wallway, it looks like you could maybe try and scale the walls as well. They are covered in vines and moss, but there's also a lot of what looks like crumbling rock and overhanging bits that would make it not outrageously easy activity, but probably possible.
I seem to remember, Elindra will say if asked about this, that the directions that we got from Domagoy said that we should approach Symbaroum from the north, that we should keep skirting around it till we get to the north and go in that way.
You were fairly sure that Domagoy didn't know that much about the ruin, but he did mention that. You don't know where he got that from.
Yeah, that did sort of stick in the memory as like a thing that he specifically said, not just like skirt around and go in from the side, but like go in from the north.
Absolutely.
Bloody massive, though. Do you want to spend another hour walking around it?
It wouldn't be an hour. It wouldn't be short. It would be 20 minutes. Closing round to the front side of it, and if you wanted to kind of go round the entire thing, that might be like moving on an hour, but it would give you a good view of all the outside of Symbaroum.
I think sticking close to the walls and looking through any gaps in the walls we find while heading to the north side of it is probably our best bet. Gives us information on whatever's to the west of it, and we still enter through the north.
Yeah, give us something of a picture of the place before we go in.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
We also don't know how long we're going to be here. Like we may not find what we need to find today. Like we may have to find somewhere to set up camp. So having that in mind while we're walking around is not a bad idea.
Let's not camp inside the walls, for the love of Prios.
Agreed.
Okay, from the north. Good shout on heading west around the bog. I think the east was a completely lost cause from what we could see of it.
Yeah, it's definitely, it would be an unpleasant, wet way towards the ruined walls and perhaps to the interior, although possible. Okay, if you are moving around quite close to the wall, then can you give me a discreet roll, Ascarai? And I would like that to be at a... I'm actually going to need a number of results from you.
Okay.
So let's... Oh, God, it's not going to get worse than that. Let's see about... Yeah, okay. I would like a... In fact, can you give me two? Can you give me two vigilant rolls at -5, please?
Right, vigilant or discreet?
Sorry, two discreet rolls at -5, because I feel like it's a bit cruel to only give you one roll with the same. Okay. I have reasons.
Okay, my vigilant is 13, so I need an 8 or less. I rolled a 10 on the first one, so a failure, and a 17 on the second one, so 2 failures.
Sure, absolutely. Okay, you make your way round the side of the ruin and sort of, I think we said you're coming around the kind of northwest of the ruin and approaching the north side, in which case I will gladly give you an image of the main north entrance to Fria, which is that. It is, as I said,
sinister at all.
High and large. The front facade is higher than it seems any other part of the walls are, and dominated, as you can see at the center there, by like an entrance, what looks like a big entranceway, flanked by stone steps that curl up around it, and full of kind of columns all across the front there. And also, as you step out, kind of like not out of the trees, but along the tree line to kind of look along that front area. I would like you, please, Ascarai, to also roll a vigilant roll against a modifier of... Sorry, there's a lot of things to consider in this, so you'll have to bear with me. A vigilant roll at a +3.
Okay, I need a 19 or less. I rolled a 20.
That's fine then. That's fine.
Oh God, not good. Do we see anything through? If we're skirting the west wall, do we see anything through the holes in like?
Well, along the west wall, and again, there is more I can give you over time. You know what? Actually, Sorry, I'm just going to make an adjustment to something. Based on this, is that the right thing to do? Yeah, that will do. Sorry, just making some adjustments here. Okay. And this is hopefully going to work quite well, because I kind of moved away from using... I know we use like Owlbear Rodeo for something. I can't even remember what now. It was something in Symbaroum, though, right? I think.
It was
yeah.
Ganderal's Ruins.
Ganderal's Ruins, yeah. But I went a bit fancier for this. because it's a bit bigger and more intense. And you'll have to forgive, it's not a full screen. I have to use the program's UI. So that is the exterior of Symbaroum. So this is the swampy area, he said. Not being able to do it, I'll have to do it like this. This is, can you see my cursor there?
Yep.
Yeah, this is the swampy area. And that's the kind of like potential way in at the rear here. Here is a gap in the walls. Here is a gap in the walls that you probably went quite close by. And inside, you didn't really see anything of note, just kind of tumble down ruins, walls. Nothing. Without going in and taking a look, your observations are limited. You came around here, crossed what remains of this kind of stream here, and are now basically looking down at this entrance area, which also seems to have a main doorway that leads inside the ruin. There's a scale here. If you can't see it, this square is 2 meters squared, and that's obviously off to the north. This symbol means an entrance, as you can probably determine. There are other symbols, but obviously the key will remain hidden until you encounter these things. So, yeah. A couple of you have had to hear from me about how complex Symbaroum is going to be. I think you're starting to get a sense of this is a bit of the old dungeon crawl in a way we haven't really done in Symbaroum so far.
Okay. What time of day is it when we arrive at the north entrance?
I would say we said 3.5 hours past when you started moving, which was shortly after dawn, and it's early spring, so I'd say you're probably around midday.
Okay, so I mean, we probably something to talk about, but I think the intention will be to head inside.
Yeah, no point beating about the bush out here. We're not going to learn anything.
Yeah, we have to be aware of the supplies we've got. We're not flush.
Okay.
So,
Ascari, you and me. Everyone else form up.
Okay. So we're moving towards the main gate and kind of trying to get in there. I think as the group moves out from the tree line, you probably more or less all become aware of kind of slinking shapes, low kind of quadrupedal shapes, moving swiftly between the pillars in the doorway, kind of seeming to retreat as if startled inside the building. Ascarai, can you give me a cunning test, please?
Okay.
No one has bushcraft, do they? No. Okay. Well, what you see are what seems to be a relatively large pack of a Davakar creature you are familiar with, called Fey Beasts. Fey Beasts are one of the most ferocious and unwavering natural predators in the region. In terms of physical shape and constitution, they resemble a jackal or a large dog, but have a kind of almost feline grey or brown speckled fur. Like meerkats, they have a venomous gland in their fangs, but while the meerkat's venom is lethal, the Fey Beasts only induces paralysis. And that's precisely why they're known among treasure hunters and scouts of Davakar as a fearsome beast. You can hardly spend a day in Thistlehold without hearing stories of people who have been eaten alive and conscious.
Okay, so they are dangerous to people.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
I will spread this information to the group. There's some, what are they called? Fey Beasts?
Fey Beasts.
Fey Beasts. Looks like there's Fey Beasts inside the ruins. Not something we want to be caught out by. Just,
Do we want to take the side entrance?
I don't know if that would be any better. We're here now. If they're inside, they're inside.
Are they quite aggressive, or are they?
They're definitely hunting creatures. Yeah.
Okay.
They'll hunt humans, especially if you let your guard down.
So they're already aware that we're here, and they're quite likely to not be the most unpleasant thing in there. We push on, right?
They're not beyond our capability to handle, but we just need to try and be aware of them. Make sure we track where they are if possible.
How many do you see?
There we go. Could you also make a cunning roll again, please, ask Ryan? I did say that they were kind of like slinking away rather than you kind of observing them as, carefully. So let's make a cunning roll at this at -3, please.
I rolled a 2, so yes, makes it.
Your quick head count of them that you're fairly confident in was that you saw. Let me think. Hang on. I just want to. You think there were over 20, but not too many over 20. There were quite a lot of them.
Does Asgray know like what an average pack of Fey beasts would be? Like, does this seem like a lot of Fey beasts?
Maybe not. Like for a for a large pack, no, not especially so.
That's right. We're like look like about 20 to me, but who knows how many more inside the walls? But
Prios's teats.
What choice do we have? We go try to go around for another entrance, and they're just going to stalk us through the woods.
Not going to get any sleep tonight. Come on, then.
Can they climb? Maybe we need to be up in the trees.
I wouldn't trust the tree.
Could we separate the group somehow?
DeGesto says, lure some of them out first. Can we spare the meat?
Not really.
Is there good eating on the Masquerade? It's a predator, so you could certainly eat them, but it's you'd much rather have some deer or a rabbit or something.
You can eat them, but it probably wouldn't replace the meat that they're gonna eat from. I mean, we're not gonna gain supplies from killing them, but I mean, maybe the two groups have been through here before us. Perhaps they've learned to fear people moving through.
It's dark inside the ruins entrance, right?
It looks kind of dark from the outside, but it doesn't necessarily look like it's pitch black inside, because most of the roof is gone.
So, sorry.
I was going to say, so we might be lighting torches anyway, maybe, or like something like that. And I wonder how they would react to fire, like if some of us were carrying fire with us.
There seem to be like staircases and other things on the kind of the outside, right? Do they seem like they might lead to places where we could get like a high vantage point?
No, you can see right there. All of this. You can't see. So those stairs kind of lead up to obviously like center with the columns. Those two sort of little towers either side. They're not higher up than the columns. It's all one kind of like level.
Okay, so there's no obvious way from that level up to, because it looked like it went above that on the top wall, but
but that
no
floor
clear
isn't
way
there
up.
anymore. So
okay. Then
we can deal with the pack of Fey beasts. If we can't, then we shouldn't even be here in the first place. That'll be. I say we just head in, light some torches, as Anton says, and just keep our wits about us. Once we get inside, hopefully it'll be a more open space, and we'll have a better vantage to see them coming. But through the pillars, we should be careful. But we can handle this.
We've come all this way. I don't see any option except to go inside, to press on.
Yeah, we're just wasting time.
Okay. All right. Are we just kind of like girding ourselves, drawing our weapons, and sort of trying to semi-quietly march up those steps and preparing ourselves for attack? Is that the idea?
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Let's do that.
Suddenly, John's face.
Great face. Yeah.
Don't like that.
I'm going to take point on this one, I think, because I have steadfast, so paralysis is probably I get a good chance to
You get
succeed against
resistance.
paralysis.
Against paralysis, yeah, sure. Yeah, okay. You sorry.
I was going to say,
Anton?
can I just roll Blessed Shield?
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
I make it, and I will include Arendar.
Okay. Elindra, you unleashing your revenant strike.
So I would, except for the fact that up until this point, we've always said that activating Revenant Strike is sort of like accompanied by a kind of loud, wordless howl of fury.
Yeah,
which
but
I think
I think you can do that quieter. You know what I mean? Like,
Grrr.
yeah.
Okay.
I think you could do it with like a grunt, maybe, rather than. It's just that usually you want to inspire fear, whereas now you want to.
Yes,
keep it
if I
contained.
can enable that without
Yeah, I
drawing
think that's fine.
attention, then
I
let's
think
do
that's
that.
fine. Sure. So take obviously your relative corruptions for those things.
Sure. That's 1d4 temp corruption. Can I, just because it's been a while, can I also kick off like a witch sight
Yeah,
in the kind
go
of
for
general area around?
Yeah,
the entry?
yeah. Go for it.
Okay, so let's see. Let's just get all this right first. Okay, so first things first, I'm getting 1d4 temp corruption. That's 4. Cool. And which site? Let's have a look. It's the roll against vigilant. Well, vigilant modified by discreet, but I guess this is a location, so unless there's something particularly secretive about it, it's just a vigilant roll, which I fail.
It's no. Let's say it's at a +3.
Oh, okay, which I succeed.
Okay.
So that's the dominant shadow of a location.
Mhm.
And I'll also take an extra point of temporary corruption for doing that. It's not
Okay.
put me over my threshold, but I am not doing any more mystical stuff than that.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Let's go into the like the shadow that you perceive in a bit. But first of all, I think everyone kind of like probably quite slowly marches up those steps and kind of comes around, and sort of the pillars go past you, and there's almost an odd sense. You get the sense that again, Symbaroum inside looks almost darker than it should. And as you walk between those pillars, the kind of like banding of like the winter sun's light against the dark shadow of the pillars almost seems like, you know, you're moving in and out of brightness and darkness as you do so, before you take the final step inside what seems to be a kind of grand entranceway of the ruin of Symbaroum. And it is, well, let's have a sensible roll, shall we? Let's have a roll from anyone who reasonably, if you think you could reasonably be expected to try and guess what a Symbaric ruin was before it was a ruin. And I'll leave it to your discretion. I think Antom's a definite yes. But like, I'll leave it to your discretion as to whether you think so. Then you can feel free to roll a cunning roll, for which I will give Antom a +4.
That's a 1 from me.
Roll a 2.
Cool. It is strikingly and brutally obvious that this place used to be a palace. Nothing else could be this ridiculously grand, except perhaps a temple, but you don't see any statues to, you know, any kind of forgotten gods. What we will do is open up, and I'm going to have to do this. I beg your indulgence just for 1 second. Let me do the old revealaroo on bits of this. And yeah, the entrance hall you can see ahead of you is like it's a fairly large square room with a number of columns along either side. Over on your right hand side is what seems to be an open stone doorway leading towards a large circular chamber. And ahead of you, there are a number of larger and smaller gaps leading to another room as well. Over to your right, there's what seems to be a large bronze doorway that seems to be very much intact and very much closed. And there we go. Is there method in my madness now? So this is the room you have stepped into. Also notable in this room is the distinct sickly sweet scent of predators, their musk, their decaying food, their fecal matter, and out from the shadows slink just a couple of fey beasts. Just a couple of them. I'm sure it's
no
fine.
problem.
Just
That's
a couple
fine,
of
no
them.
problem.
I think Astra would like to take, even if he thinks there's not a great chance of hitting, just take a shot at one of them as like a, hey, fuck off.
Like a warning shot rather than a...
Yeah, I mean, he's going to try and
Sure.
hit them, but like...
Okay, sure, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm happy with us doing that. Well, let's just move into combat rounds because that's what they're going to intend to do. So let's just go into that straight away. So John, for your purposes, the Fey Beasts have a Vigilant of 10 and a Quick of 10, making them the most average opponents imaginable. So there we go. Okay. Don't mind me. I'm just writing down a lot of Fey Beasts.
Is everyone ready to bonk some meow meows?
Oh God. Yeah. Okay, let me just get their toughness. All right, that'll have to do. Yeah, let's say that 3 of them have kind of like stepped out of the shadows at a pillar further ahead and are sort of slowly moving forwards, kind of curled low to the ground, bearing their fangs. Ascarai, yeah, you can take a shot on them, friend. That shot will be at it's flat. They have 0 defense.
Okay. This is not going to be an armor piercing. This is going to be a double shot with no movement. I rolled a 9, so that is a hit. And I will say this is my hunter's instinct target with the one I'm facing. So it's a D10 plus a D4 plus 1 for damage, which is a 12 for damage.
Ooh, 12 for damage, and they have no armor. Yeah, your arrow leaps from your bow, strikes the Fey Beast in the side, and it's like it's fallen over asleep. It just slams to the ground and doesn't twitch so much as twitch again. There is a low kind of coughing howl echoes all around the environs of the room, and apart from the 3 approaching, one of which now lies dead on the ground, the other 19 Fey Beasts leap out and start to move towards your party with ill intent.
Okay, so my attempt to make them leave has not worked.
It has not. Elindra, you can see the shadow of the Fey Beasts. It is brownish yellow, like the dry grass of a meadow rustling around them.
Okay.
Ascarai, were you taking another shot?
Yeah, I'll take a second shot at one of the other ones that was the first to appear.
Sure.
Still kind of probably hopelessly hoping for this to make them scared and run away, but doesn't seem likely. Okay, that is a 4. I mean, I'll change my hunter's instinct to the new one. I get to change it anytime I kill one, I think. So for damage, that is a 9.
Okay. Well, that's over their pain threshold. So are we firing another arrow?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. That's a 20 on the shot. I get 2 tries though because it's Hunter's Instinct
Hunter's
target.
Instinct. Yeah.
Thank goodness. Which is 11, which hits. And for damage is 8.
Okay. Well, that's a second kill, taking 2 arrows this time as another Fey Beast kind of thuds to the ground. Can you fire another 20 times?
Not yet. Just need to get a bit more XP.
Just a bit more XP and you'll be there.
Next
Okay,
level.
don't forget, by the way, that we will be having our line of sight rules in this because no one's charged forward yet. That doesn't really matter right now. But just so we know, you're not going to be firing into combats unless you circle all the way around them. Elindra.
Where are these things coming from?
All around you. They let you take a good 20 paces into the chamber before they emerged, and they were basically lurking behind all the pillars.
We are surrounded at this point.
Absolutely.
Okay. Are there any within a distance that I can step to this turn without getting in Askarai's way?
I mean, you will get in the way of the ones you attack.
Sure, but like I'm not going to step out in front of him.
Around you.
Yeah.
No, because they're all around you. It's only the ones you're fighting that will be blocked.
Yeah. So I will, like one to the side or like behind us or like.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
I will step in to engage.
Charge one in. Like I said, they've got flat defense, so it's just a normal to hit roll.
Sure. That is a hit. This is the first free attack on engagement. Damage is going to be D12 plus D4 plus 1, which is a somewhat disappointing 5 in this case. I'm guessing the thing is still alive, so I get.
Sorry, how much damage was it?
5.
And it's not past its pain threshold. So.
Okay, so that was I've just engaged you attack. Now I'll
your long attack,
My long attack hits. Sorry, my normal attack hits, and then we're going to do 10 damage this time round.
Okay, yeah. So you charge in on the creature, which kind of recoils from you and then snaps out at you. You slash out with it, leaving a kind of grievous wound across its face, which makes it kind of like snap and rear its head from side to side in pain and confusion. And then you just brace back on one foot, thrust forward, and impale the thing on the end of your blade, and it collapses to the ground. So that is another one dead. And probably a little bit on purple fire from the Revenant Strike.
Yeah.
What's Revelia doing? Is Revelia coming and kind of backing you up?
Yeah, well, I mean, hopefully not on the same Fey Beast because
no, she can approach one that's kind of near you.
Yeah. So
near a bunch of them.
She can be stood near me and will attack with spears.
Sure. So that's a long attack first.
It's a long attack first. That's a hit, and damage is D8 plus 1 for her. 6 damage. And then her normal attack is she rolls a 1 for that one.
Nice.
What's that then? Is that forget how it works.
D6, isn't it?
Plus extra D6. Okay.
Or is it D4?
It's a
D6. It is a D6 for a perfect hit, yeah.
Okay, and it's just a D. It's just a D8 plus 1, so 7 in total.
Well, on top of the 5, or just 2 damage extra there?
No, 5 and then 7.
5 and then 7. Okay, yeah.
12.
Revelia charges in alongside you, kind of like piercing the side of a Fey Beast with the first strike, and then piercing through kind of its shoulder with the next one, where it kind of howls and yips and makes other sorry noises as it rolls over on the floor in its death throes. What's Farron doing, Arendar?
Farron will select a prime target and then run forward and try and bite it.
Okay. So give me a roll for Farron.
Okay, first time I have done this. He rolls accurate. Is it a flat?
It
flat
is
roll.
Flat. Yeah.
He just misses.
Okay. So Farron is kind of engaged with one. I'll put here. and they're just kind of snapping back and forth at the moment. Arindar, what are you doing?
Aaron is going to step forward because Farron is mostly there to act as a distraction and is going to attack the
one that
beast
is
that Farron is engaged with.
Sure, absolutely. Okay, and you can do that with an advantage because the Fey beasts haven't had time to swarm people yet. So go ahead.
Which is an extra 2 on the roll, isn't it?
It's +2 on the roll and a plus D4 if it
D4.
hits.
That is a hit. So that is... Oh, God, I've forgotten what shapes are. Only a 5 damage.
Only a 5 damage. Okay. Yeah, it's still kind of snapping and trying to get at Ferrin, which means it's actually quite difficult to hit for the moment because it's sort of circling with him. You manage to stab out and kind of mildly impale the thing in one of its thighs, but it's definitely still up and fighting. Okay, we have the Fortune Hunters now, which I'm not going to roll for, but I'm going to say that they're going to charge in and try and engage the Fey beasts kind of like in pairs. So they're engaging 2 of the Fey beasts in pairs. Let me just check on what their default damage is, so I can just kind of apply that, because if anyone is interested, I don't kind of sim the I kind of sim the combat rather than like actually rolling or anything, because frankly, fuck that. So let's say that half of them hit. So let's say that is... Yeah, the Fortune Hunters are kind of like stabbing and hacking away at a couple of the Fey beasts, sort of quite near, emerging quite near from the group. And they're definitely doing some damage to them. Doing some damage. And now it's the Fey beast's turn. So what we're going to do, because there's a lot of them, folks, is we are first going to do the ones who are already engaged. So with Ferrin and Aaron, I did say it was snapping at Ferrin more than Aaron, so we'll go for an attack on Ferrin. Their attacks are at a -3. So roll Ferrin's defense at a -3, please.
You're on mute, I think.
Defense is quick normally, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. -3. Ooh, target is 10.
His stat blocks should just have a defense on it, though.
Oh, it does. Yeah, but it's in the NPC version. So his is -3, so it would be 13. So it's actually 10, yes.
Yes.
He succeeds.
Okay. That's fine. He manages to avoid the jaws of the Fey beast, which you can't help but notice are dripping with a kind of like slightly almost sparkling slaver that hits the ground and curls oddly as it runs in small drops across the old stone flooring. I'm also going to calculate now for the Fortune Hunters. They do that much, and the Fortune Hunters have that much. So, okay, that is a bit of further damage for them. Let me just do a bit of random rolling for a second. We have that, which leads there, and that, which leads there. Also, okay, so that's some damage. Who wants to make Fortune Hunter paralysis resistance rolls?
Go on then, while I'm here.
Oh.
Okay. So what I need you to do is roll against 10.
Mm-hmm.
And I need you to do it with a disadvantage. So roll twice and take the lower. Take the worst result.
Fail. 14.
Okay. And the next one, please.
Do you want to take this one?
Yeah. So roll twice and try and pass 10 on both.
Correct.
That first one's a pass. Second one's a pass.
Okay. In that case, you only see one of the fortune hunters sort of shake his head slowly as if rousing himself from sleep, and then just straight up collapse over onto his side on the floor and kind of spasm for a few seconds before lying completely still. Can you roll a d8, please, Theo?
That's a 4.
Okay. I will note that down. And now the other 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 of them. So we are going to run some engagements here. I am first off going to have, because they're surrounding you, they don't kind of have to run it past anyone's engagement zone to get 2 people, right? So I am going to first off put one of them on each of you, and then see where that leaves us. Well, we've got DeGesto as well. We've got Revelia. So that is there's 4 of you who are unengaged, 5 with Revelia, and we've got DeGesto as well. So that's 6. And how many did I say there were? 15 of them. So I'll just put 2 of them on each of you, and then I'll roll to see where the others go. Does that seem fair? That seems kind of fair to me.
This was a bad idea, I think.
So we'll have 2 on Askarai, 2 on Alindra, 2 on Revelia, 2 on Anton, 2 on Steo, 2 on DeGesto, and then I will just roll a die for the rest. So that's annoyingly 7 people. So
get the old 7-sided dice out.
7-sided die out, yeah. And there's a D10 for the first
from the Call
one.
of Cthulhu special edition.
So there's another one on Revelia, and then a D6, and then there's another one on Anton. Really picking out the weakest of the pack here, and then one other on Askarai. So it turns out they're accidentally pretty fucking good at this. So there we go. Right, let's start doing defense rolls, friends. Let's start with Askarai. Askarai, can you make they are flanking you now, clearly. So if you can make 3 defense rolls, please, at -5.
Okay, I need 11 or less. The first one, I rolled a 6, which makes it. Second one, I rolled another 6, which also makes it. The last one, I rolled a 17, which does not make it.
Okay. Can you give me an armor roll, please?
Okay. That is 2d4. Which is a 4 and a 3. 7.
Okay. The Fey Beast kind of lashes out, and like I say, they're not huge. They're sort of kind of, jackass size, kind of hyena size, which we've seen before. And it doesn't kind of, like a lot of other kind of carnivores of this size, like meerkats, like jackars, you've seen people like latch onto people and try and tear and rend at them. This one just closes its fangs and then pulls away to try and, it's done what it needs to do. And it pulls away and kind of circles you slightly while the other 2 kind of like try and move around your back. You glance down at your what is your actual, because I know you've got the cloak, but what's your actual armor, just out of?
I think it's woven silk or something quite fancy like that.
You see several rents in your silk, in the silk on your arm, but no stains from blood. It hurt. You felt the fangs press into your flesh, but you don't think they broke the surface.
Okay.
No toughness damage, and if they don't damage you, the venom doesn't get through.
Thank God.
So there we go. Elindra,
Yay.
3 defenses at -5, please.
-5, so I'm going to need to roll 8. That's a 5, so that's a pass. 14 is a fail, and 15 is a fail. So that's two failed out of the 3.
2 fails. Can you give me 2 armor rolls then, please?
Sure thing. A 5 and a 4.
Okay. You feel kind of like the clanging crushing impact of 2 sets of Fey Beast jaws. One on kind of like, Lindra does only have 2 enemies. You're absolutely right, John. It's fine. The end result is the same. One of them is kind of behind you and the other is in front of you. And you feel like the clash of their jaws, one on your thigh, the other on your forearms. You try and like bring your longsword around to sweep it away. You're fairly sure that neither of them has pierced your flesh. So again, for now, you're fine.
That's good.
Let's move on to Revelia, who has 3 defenses, please.
She does have 3, doesn't
-5. Yeah.
Gosh. So she just... I think she needs an 8 as well. That's a 5, so pass. 5, pass. 1, pass.
Nice. And that
Ravilia's
lets her get an attack
really
back.
good at this.
And that lets her get an
really
attack
good.
back. She's inspired by your presence. So go ahead and make a flat attack for her, right?
Sure. Okay. That's a fail.
Okay.
She's got no special things.
Yeah, you kind of, again, she's very good at using that shield of hers. Maybe it might, because I know I've just been narrating it, but maybe it might be a good idea when she gets some XP to like buy her shield mastery or something like that, because she seems to use it very well, and she is trying to block between each of the Fey beasts as they do so. One of them kind of latches onto the top of it and attempts to bite her. She pushes it out and like slams her sword into the... She does have a sword, right? Oh no, she said she had a spear at this point. She kind of brings the spear point up against the edge of the shield, but the Fey beast moves microseconds away from getting a spear fully in the face and drops back on the prowl and on the attack. Anton, friend.
If it's
3
to
defenses at
-5.
-5. Yeah.
Yeah, I need a 1 or a
of them.
2 3 times. That's a 12. That's a 1.
Eee!
That's a 3. Oof.
Okay.
I
Let's
mean, 12
be
is
nice.
a 1 and a 2, so like...
Let's deal with that perfect defense first, shall we?
Sure.
So why don't you get an attack against one of these things, a flat attack, please?
Yeah, I make it. So I need my D10. That is 5.
5 damage. You don't get your backhand is when you miss on like a odd or an even, right? It's not like a general.
Yeah, and that's with a D8, not a D10.
Sure. Well, as one of the Fey beasts kind of leaps towards you with a growl, you thrash out with your flail and feel kind of the weights on the end of it slam into the flank of it and send it sort of skidding and spinning across the floor away from you with a howl. But as you do so, another one of those Fey beasts leaps up and kind of briefly latches itself to the outstretched hand you're holding the flail with. Give me an armor roll, and obviously don't forget your blessed shield.
Sorry, that's 8.
You were on mute there.
8. The Fey beast recoils back with a howl, and you see that like its face is slightly smoking and sparking as the blessing of Prios washed over it before it could make proper contact with your arm. You lot are being very lucky here, but I love it because it's excitingly terrifying. So let's go with Steo, who of course first gets 2 attacks against them.
Was I not being attacked by 3?
You were, and you did.
I only did 1 defense roll.
Oh yeah, sorry. Another armor roll, then, please.
I'm like just because I know that someone's gonna pick that up in the chat.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
I'm not relishing this.
And just after I said that, everyone's being lucky.
So it's another armor roll, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is 9. Get fucked.
Same again. Yeah.
Would you have spotted the
same again? Only
missing
this
attack?
one was trying to bite your bum.
Wow, it appears I'm being.
It's where the good meat is.
Has Anton got armor on his bum?
He's got the robes and the blessed
Prios is everywhere.
The blessed shield of Prios does not have a hole for his bum.
Well, okay. Yep.
God, okay, that was weird.
That's reassuring.
Okay, So I have two. I'm being engaged by two of them, am I?
Yeah, you are. So it's flat attacks for each of them. They have a defensive 0.
Let's go. That is a success because I passed my elderly today.
Hey,
And that is the same number again, which is a pass.
nice,
And
nice.
once again,
So
and I'm
2 damage
knocking
rolls,
these two. I'm knocking both of these out of engagement.
out of
range.
engagement. Yeah, makes absolute sense.
5 on one of them and
Mhm.
9 on the other.
Well, that one's past its pain threshold, so go ahead with another attack or you can knock it prone if you'd rather.
That's the third 15 on 3 d20 rolls. That's nuts. I'm just give me. I'll double check that these are distinct rules. Okay, they are not actually distinct rules. What happened there?
Beautiful.
That's weird.
Beautiful.
Okay, right. It is working now. So shall we? Will we retcon that because 315s is beyond the realms?
No. I don't want to go backwards on this combat. There's so many rolls to be made. It's absolutely fine. Just make a damage roll for the.
Well, that's karma. So
that
one
makes
extra
up for
damage.
that. That makes up.
Sorry,
for that.
two.
Damage.
Apologies. That is
2
actually
extra damage
because it's.
Well, that's exactly enough, Steo. So you've cheated your way to victory there with a. So the first one to come in at you left a deep gash along its side with your spear, using fairly standard kind of hunting posture, holding the spear low and bringing it up when the beasts come towards you. The second one does definitely not learn from the mistakes of its fellow and pretty much splits itself open on the end of your spear. You toss it to the ground, intestines slithering across the dusty flagstones. So that's 1 down, folks. Another 1 down via cheating, but a victory's a victory. Okay, so Digesto. And again, I'm just simming this. I'm not making rolls. So I just need to quickly check what Digesto's armor stats are and see if there's any chance of them sort of getting over that. Not a standard chance, but what I will do is I will give all 3 of the ones on Digesto a d20 roll. And if they roll a 1, I'll say they've managed to do a little bit of damage past his armor. Because it's like, you might have worked out by now, their damage is 4 and his armor is 5. So I just want to play the odds a little bit and see if they get past it a bit. That's a 7. That's a 6. And that's a 1. So Digesto done got bit. So now what we need to do, who would like to make a roll for Digesto to resist the venom?
I'll do it.
I'll take it.
Oh.
Okay.
Go. Everyone wants it. Everyone wants it.
Who do you
okay.
want to take it, Matt?
I don't give a shit. That's why I asked. I can't believe that's his strong. That's ludicrously low. Okay. So who's doing it? Who's doing it? One person, please.
I'll do it since
Sam will do it. Sam will do it. Right. You need to roll against 4 twice.
Okay. Not loving my chances. Rolled an 8 on the first roll.
Okay, there we go. Digesto, could you roll a d8 for me now as well, please?
Okay, a d8. 2.
Okay. You see Digesto kind of thrashing around himself with his sort of fire tube and sort of backing off two of the fey beasts with kind of shouts and great swings, while the other one quite neatly nips around behind him, darts in only briefly at his ankles, and you see him sort of curse and heft a blow backwards, and as at the sort of apex of that blow, he literally just swings down and over and collapses face first on the floor in a great heap, looking quite undignified and very much unable to move. So there we go. Two down. And that's all the Fey beasts. So Steo, you are now unengaged because you managed to break the engagement of one of them. Sorry, John. Yes.
I think you missed me because I had an extra Fey beast on me.
No, you didn't. Nope.
I thought
It's fine.
They went for everyone who was unengaged.
Oh,
Nope.
okay.
No, you already had yours, didn't you?
I
Didn't
had
we do
one,
the-
but
Yeah.
I thought you said that everyone ends up with 2, and then you were
I
going
said
to.
all the people who were unengaged end up with 2.
Oh, never mind then.
So, given the situation, can I close the distance to Digesto and try and get some of the? Was the lady the lady one the one of the fortune hunters who went over?
No,
Do you want to flip
No.
a coin? It wasn't.
no, it
Okay,
wasn't. No.
perfect. So I'm going to go and save Digesto because he's more tactically useful, and Steo has no emotional connection to him of any description.
Sure. Absolutely. All right. Yeah, you can run over to that group, and I'd say you can. How many of them can you feasibly actually engage? Because it seems like giving you 3 attacks if you know. Tell you what, could you give me a cunning roll? And if you succeed on a cunning roll, I'll let you engage 2 of them. Okay, so you can engage one of them.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Any little helps. I will engage one of them. In so engaging, I get my free attack from Long.
Yes, you absolutely do.
And that's a 1. Ooh.
It occurs to me that
Sorry,
only
meow,
2 of
meow.
them were attacking Digesto, so it was a mystical third one who actually got the blow. But we'll just say it balances with you cheating on your turn. So on when
Yeah,
you
no,
got
I'm
attacked,
happy
so
with
it's
that.
fine, yeah.
I'm also happy with the 1 I just rolled. So let me tot
Ooh.
that up. That's 8. That's 9 damage in total.
Okay, that's past their pain threshold. Go ahead and make another attack if you want.
Oh, that's actually a fail.
Okay. So there we go. That is the Fey Beast you've engaged, which was the one that kind of managed to nip at the back of Digesto's heel. It has a very, very deep wound in its side now from your spear. It's kind of holding one paw up against itself, but is still kind of snapping out at you and slavering in a kind of rather terrific vision of animalistic bravado. So that's that many. Yeah. Who have we got next? Father Anton, who is facing at least 1 that is slightly wounded, and another 2 that aren't.
I'll attack the one that is.
Okay.
I make it. And I do 6 points of damage.
That is exactly enough. As you lash out with your flail, flailing failure. As you lash out with your flail, you do not fail. You succeed, and you feel a crunch as the beast's neck breaks under the weight of your the blow of your flail, and it collapses to the ground. So that's 1 less. I'm going to get to the end of this round, and then I'm going to do some counting as to how many remain alive, because I think that's quite important. So Digesto obviously gets no turn. I will just do a thing over here. But let's count how many are up and about, shall we? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Plus that, so there are that many Fey beasts. Okay, we're back round to the beginning. Ascarai. And Ascarai not able to bow it up.
No. Ascarai is going to drop his bow, pull out his fencing sword. It's quite fancy fencing sword. And try and stab one of them that is attacking him.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, they are... Yeah, that's just a flat attack then.
Okay, I will use feint, so I need 15 or less. I rolled a 7. So that's a hit, which is a D4 plus a D8 plus 1 for my fancy-ish
Not
fencing
bad.
sword. So a total of 5 damage.
Okay, that is sadly not past their pain threshold. But you leave kind of a terrible carved slash along one of their kind of hind legs that leaves it hopping but still ready to attack you at the nearest opportunity. Elindra.
Right.
Hit dog with sword.
Hit dog with sword. Like can find hittable dog.
Yeah, well, you got 2 of them on you, so yeah.
Oh yeah, we didn't finish.
We didn't do your long, did we? Did we do your long for them engaging you?
No,
I don't think
but
we
I
did.
had already done a long on my turn.
Oh,
so I
you
don't
only
know
get
if-
1 a turn. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
I forget what we. I'm fine.
Yeah,
with it,
yeah.
like-
No, it's fine. I just confuse the trait of long with like all the incredible stuff that Steo has. But no, you're right. You get 1 free attack a turn as something engages you. When
Yeah,
you engage
and I
something.
think we decided that a turn was like a round.
Yeah, it's a
essentially.
round. It's not
Yeah.
your turn. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, just straight up hitting one of your assailants with a sword, then I guess.
Hit the thing with the sword. What's the attack modifier?
Flat. It's all flat.
Ooh. Yeah, that's a miss, but we have the two-handed force, which means I can attempt it again for less damage. So let's. Oh wow, double fail. Cool.
Well, these Fey beasts are clearly too nippy for your.
I think, given what I've seen them do to Degesto, this might be spending XP
spending a bit of
o'clock.
XP. Sure.
For another go.
I don't mind you respending it for the first swing either. If you want.
Okay. Wow, that's good because I've missed the first swing and the second swing. Yeah, no, the dice are trying to kill me.
Yeah, I think Elindra is just
Gonna have to live with that.
yeah, you feel kind of off. Maybe one of them moves alongside you and kind of bashes its body against your hips and leaves you off balance and kind of slashing to just desperately keep them away in an unusual display of poor swordsmanship from Elindra. But hey, maybe Revelia can make up for it.
Yeah, she's really good, isn't she? She's like
Mm.
Revelia is totally my favorite. Okay. I've hyped her up now.
Yeah.
No, yeah, she hits.
She hits.
So
Okay.
that's fine. So she's
Damage roll then, please.
9.
Oh, past its pain threshold.
Just
Give you
doesn't
another
even
roll.
break a sweat, does she?
No,
Like-
and then that's another attack as well from the pain threshold. Unless I'm just choosing that no one ever picks to knock things prone, or very rarely does. So I'm assuming that's another hit.
I think I tried it
Not in
once
this
really in the
situation.
campaign, and it was
Yeah.
like they got up on their turn, and that's not you can't have
Yeah.
that.
No.
Okay, cool. Right, another attack. That is a hit, and she's gonna do 5 damage.
Okay. One Fey beast that was frustrated before and kind of scrabbling against her shield, essentially is enraged and comes in for the same attack again. She kind of hefts the shield up with the Fey beast kind of dangling from it, and with a cry of exertion, takes a few steps forwards and batters its body against one of the stone columns. And then as she pulls back and it drops to the ground stunned, one thrust with the spear and it is dead. Revelia.
Nice.
Okay. We have Ferren, who's presumably still attacking the same individual alongside you, and gets a good old +2 for the flank.
I think Ferren might. No, Ferren will attack.
Disengaging would mean it would get a free attack on Ferren.
Not if he rolls for acrobatics.
Oh, no, that is true.
I was going to say, no, I will do that. Ferren will delay his turn until after my turn.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Then it's your turn.
And then I will attempt to attack. Which is it? Yeah, +2. So 18 as the target,
+2.
which is definitely a hit. And it's D12 plus a D4, which it's 15 damage.
I think it might be dead, John.
I think it might.
Stop! The Fey Beast is already dead. It's distracted by Farron still trying to get him. You know, dogs don't like cats, I guess. And as it rounds on Farron, you take a quick sidestep, which it clearly did not expect from such a cumbersome beast as a human, and just run it through from behind. And it collapses on the floor, kind of trembling, with blood pumping out of its side, but not for long. You have a movement action remaining. Do you want to go and engage something else to try and like stop them flanking, or have?
I want to try and interfere in the ones that are gnawing Ascarai, because I think
Sure.
tactically freeing the archer up is the best thing that we could do.
Sure, I am perfectly happy for you to dash over and basically bull one of them away from Ascarai, or at least when you like come for it, it kind of wheels round on you and engages you instead. I'm happy for you to do that while kind of sacrificing Ascarai's attack against the disengagement of it, if that makes sense, because I feel like you're gaining something that wouldn't normally happen by me dragging it off Ascarai. Does that make sense? Otherwise, you're just joining Ascarai's combat.
Yeah, but my idea, well, what I was going for was me and Farron both joining the combat, and then they don't have a.
Then there wouldn't be any flanking. Okay, let's go with that then. So Ascarai, Aaron, and Farron are all in the same combat together. Yeah.
And as Farron moves over, he is also going to take an attack at one of them.
Yep, that's absolutely fine. There is one that is wounded by Ascarai. Is it that one or one of the unwounded ones?
I'll go for the wounded one.
Okay,
there's blood in the air.
Yeah, then that's just a flat attack.
Okay. Brain. There we go.
Good tactics.
That's a 1.
So that's an extra d6 damage.
Okay. So the weapon says 4, then that would be a d8.
Yes.
Plus the d6.
Correct.
That is 6 damage, and
we don't need to worry about poison.
Cool.
Basically, Ascarai, as you're fighting off these 3 Fey beasts and kind of whipping around with your fencing sword, you see Aaron kind of like running over to you and sort of like skidding to a halt behind the Fey beasts, and sort of they kind of turn and it turns into like more of this kind of like general little swirling melee between the 5 of you, and then Farron, out of nowhere, just slams into one of the Fey beasts and they go tumbling over on the floor, yowling and hissing, and only Farron gets back up.
Yes, Farron.
That is another one down.
Fair enough.
Boo! Boo! Shame. Moving on. Okay, let's go to the Fortune Hunters, who've been having a nice time so far. So they're going to carry on with essentially what they were doing, which is hacking away at the 2 Fey beasts they have engaged between the 4 of them. Bold Fortune Hunters. And then, sadly, we move back to the Fey beasts. So what did we do with I think with the Fortune Hunters, I know what I did. Oh no, that one only has 1 Fortune Hunter on it now, so never mind. Sorry, ignore me, I'm just getting confused. Okay, so of those ones, let's see who gets attacked. It is her. Steo, you seem to have a liking for the Fortune Hunter lady you patched up. Do you want to roll against a difficulty of 10 for her, please?
I'd rather not, but 6, he did it!
Cool. Try it again.
18, he did not do it. Or she did not do it.
She did not do it. The Fortune Hunter, who was wounded by the Etermites, you see collapse. in the middle of the group of the Fey Beasts and the Fortune Hunters. Do you want to give me a D8 roll as well, please?
Yes, if everything would work too.
2. Okay. And then the other attack is on there. And while you're at it, Steo, can you give me another roll for another one of the Bitten Fortune Hunters?
Okay, 15 is not a good number.
It's not, and that's enough. So you actually see 2 of the Fortune Hunters collapse. The woman you helped kind of fix up from the Etermites, and the other female Fortune Hunter, who was the one who recognized you as the heroes of the sinkhole. Both of them are now collapsed, paralyzed on the ground. Could you roll a D8 for the second one as well, please?
I don't like where this is going. I don't like it one bit.
Those Fortune Hunter Fey Beasts are getting awful freed up. That is 8. No less than 8. That will actually be there. Okay, and now the other Fey Beasts. So, I think there's no reason. It's 2 on 3. I'm going to roll for which individuals in the grand Askarai, Arin, Ferren melee who's going to get attacked and who isn't. One of them is going to attack Arindar, and one of them is going to attack Ferren. So could you roll defenses for both of those, please? They're just -3s.
Don't forget your extra armor.
Yeah, so I'll roll my own first, which is a fail, which is annoying, but D8 plus... What's my Blessed Shield? D4, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Is Blessed Shield D4, Anton? D6, isn't it? D6.
You're on mute.
By the way.
Yes, it's D6.
D6. That's only 5. No, 6.
Okay. Well, they're 4, so it's fine.
Fine.
The Fey Beast snaps at you, but those kind of sparking sun dogs that Anton has managed to invoke from Prios around it kind of make it snap and rear its head and turn away at the last moment. How about Ferren's defense?
Ferren is a target of 10 and rolls 14. So Ferren gets hit and no armor.
No armor. Okay. Can you take 4 toughness for Ferren, please, then?
Mm-hmm.
And what's Ferren's strong?
Ferren's strong is 7.
Okay. Can you roll against 2 twice, please?
1 sec.
Oof.
4 toughness, which is also his pain threshold. Roll against...
Yeah, but it has to be over the pain threshold, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fail. That's
I mean, 1 fail is all that matters because
yeah.
You're rolling at disadvantage.
Yep.
Could you give a D8 roll for me, please?
5.
Okay. You see Ferren get kind of quite a deep gash on his kind of hip from where one of the Fey Beasts snaps out, being presumably infuriate its downed compatriot. And Ferren collapses to the ground. You can see that he's breathing. You can see his chest kind of like heaving. He will be out of action for his next 5 turns. So there we go. Okay. Has anyone passed the poison tests completely?
I think one of the Fortune Hunters did it.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah. That's fine. Cool. Okay. So those are there. That's them. Elindra, you need 2 defense tests at -5, please.
Okie dokie. That's 1 fail and 1 pass. For the pass, I've got 2-handed finesse, which lets me do an opposed strong test to push enemies out of melee range and do 1d6 damage to them.
Cool. Shall we deal with the strike on you first?
Yeah.
No. Actually, let's deal with this first because after the strike on you, it might not matter.
Yeah.
So let's deal with that first. So Is it an opposed strong roll?
Yeah, strong versus strong modified by their
Okay,
strong.
that will be a strong at a -1 then, please.
Okay. That's a pass. So we're going to do D6 damage to that one. 6.
6, nice. So that is, and then they're out of engagement, right?
Yeah, so they'll face long when they step back in again.
Yeah.
Assuming that I'm still standing, which I guess is what we're about to find out now.
What we're about to find out, yeah. So make your armor roll, please.
1.
Oh, okay. Do you want to XP that?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. Okay, let's go again. 2, because of course.
Well, you regain that point of toughness, which is all important, obviously. Okay, can you make a strong roll at disadvantage at -5, please?
Strong roll, disadvantage -5. So I
Yeah,
need to
so in
get
other words, roll
less than
twice.
10 twice. That's
Yeah.
a fail.
Yeah.
I don't do that.
Okay, then if you could roll D8, please.
Pardon me. That's an 8. That's good, right?
It is if you want a long sleep. Yeah, you basically, as one of them comes at you, you take advantage of that and kind of step into it, throw it back, manage to pommel strike it with a sharp crack across its side of its head, and kind of throw it off and away from you. And as you wheel round to face the other one, it's there. You feel its fangs kind of tear into your cheek and rip at you as you pull away. You feel a sharp pain, and then no pain, and then a real intense dizziness, and then nothing. All of the rest of you see Alindra collapse face first onto the floor of the ruin.
It's TPK evening here on Telling Tales.
It's all right. They only eat you alive. So, moving on, it's just Stephen's gone. Yep, so we're on to, well, you have to come back, Stephen, because we're on to Revelia. So Revelia will just kill them all. It's fine. So she's being attacked by 2, so it's defenses, 2 defenses at -5 again.
Okay, pass and pass. She's a machine.
An absolute machine. She is spinning around with that shield. She really has the measure of these creatures, and she's just kind of knocking them back and blocking them and stabbing out with her spear. The rest of you hear her cry out Elindra's name and kind of try and start moving towards her, but he's really quite restricted by the fact that she's got these 2 fey beasts kind of on her. Anton, one of yours is dead, but can you roll 2 defenses at -5, please?
Oh, that's a 3 again. And a 6. So no, 2 fails
No.
there.
Okay, can you give me 2 sets of armor rolls then, please?
Shit. That is 7 on one and 10 on the other.
Yeah, absolutely. The 2 fey beasts kind of leap towards you, but both are turned away by the glittering blessing of Prios. It's probably giving you some confidence in his kind of like dominion over these beasts of the forest, because this is a lot more successful than the last time you came out here, and perhaps your renewed faith has something to do with that. Okay, who's next? We don't have any of them on. Oh no, we've got one of them on Steo. Yes.
Well, no, they would have been disengaged. So unless they re-engage with me, then.
Oh no. Okay, that's true. Yeah. Okay. We'll get to the unengaged ones in a minute. Oh no, I think it is just the unengaged ones now, because the ones basically who have downed people are unengaged. And there are 2 of them. 1, 2. Oh no, 3. So 1. Oh my god. Maybe more. 1, 2, 3 who are unengaged and haven't acted this round. I think the one who Steo attacked is going to try and re-engage with Steo. Is anyone else here unengaged? No.
I don't know if I'm unengaged or not, because
no, there's still 2 of them in that kind of brawl with you.
Okay.
Both.
Okay.
So I'll say that another one is going to try and engage Steo. probably the one who was originally engaged with him, and then I will roll a die for the extra between the, I don't know, 1, 2, 3. Who's still up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the remaining fortune hunter is swamped, so I won't count them. Yeah, right. Okay, the other one's going for Steo as well, which is probably good.
Well, let's find out.
Let's find out. I think that's good. Who was that? Oh god, there's so many. No, that's. Oh god, sorry. Oh no, that's them. There, yeah. Okay. Right, Steo, you got 3 flat attacks.
Okay, let's do it.
Coming at you.
15s or less, 16s or less, actually. That's a 1. Thank you very much.
Whoop.
So, will we resolve the damage for that one?
Yeah, let's do that one first, please.
Yeah, so that's 9 plus 3, 10, 11, 12, please.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. One of the Fey Beasts bounds towards you and leaps through the air. You basically stab it as it comes through the air towards you, withdraw, and it's just kind of flying. You didn't catch it on the end of the spear. It's just flying past you with a spear hole in it and crashes into one of the pillars to the ground. That one's dead.
Okay, number 2. 6 is a pass. So it's disengaged, whatever happens, and that's only 2 damage on that one.
That is enough. And this extra one kind of half like limps and tries to leap towards you. You spin round and clock the back of its head with the end of your spear, and it just crumples to the ground and doesn't get up. And the last one, please, Steo.
That's still a success on a 12. And the damage is a total of 5.
The damage is a total of 5. Okay, and the last one approaches you. You manage to get a jab into its shoulder as it does so, and kind of you push it out of engagement with you. Well, there's the Fey Beast. Now, if you'll indulge me 1 second, folks, I need to count the Fey Beasts again. There is an important reason for this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's 11 there. And then adding that is that, and that's that. Okay, that's fine. So moving on from the Fey Beasts, Steo, it's now your turn. You are unengaged. There's a relatively wounded Fey Beast near you that you've just pushed back, but there's also a number of other individuals you could go try and back up. There's also 2 completely unengaged Fey Beasts that are now near Alindra, but from observing what they do, it does seem that, like, if they paralyze someone, they don't hang around and start eating them. They're trying to get everyone down so that their feast can be completely uninterrupted. So it's up to you what you want to do with that.
I think... Look, the tactics don't really matter. This is swarm combat. I'm going to finish off the one I wounded. I'm just going to close the ground again and hopefully seal the deal.
Sure. So give me that. Give me the long. And I don't think you have to use a movement thing for it because it's right in front of you. I think you can just step.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Did we say that was a bit OP? That you could do that?
Well,
and
no,
then
because...
and then re-engage.
Yeah, I'll spend the movement on it.
Yeah, I think it has to be the movement. Yeah, sorry.
That's a 7.
Mm-hmm.
And 6 on the damage.
Yep, that is enough. You step forward and strike that Fey Beast down. You know, spears, as Revelia has found out, are absolutely the ideal use of weapon against these beasts. Keep them at a distance and just try and spit them when they move in to bite at you. I am going to make a roll for something.
I hit it.
Passed with flying colours. Let's carry on. Anton, you are facing 2 of them. They're both unwounded.
Yep, I will.
Flail time.
Flail.
Don't attack like that with a flail, folks. I don't know why I did that. I'm going to keep it at arm's length. Big swipes.
So I make it.
Tips.
Nice. And the damage, please.
And damage is only a 3.
Only a 3. Unsurprisingly, not past their pain threshold. But you definitely made contact and felt maybe kind of like one of their leg bones kind of slightly break under the impact. kind of fracture under the impact, and they definitely look like they didn't enjoy the strike you delivered to them. But they're still up and fighting. De Gesto looks to be starting to move on the ground, kind of slowly sort of like rocking backwards and forwards and attempting to start to push himself back up to his feet. All right. Let's roll back to the beginning of the round, shall we? Askarai, you are involved in a fight with two of them. You have flanking on both of them. Because, oh no, Farron, no, you don't. Farron is unconscious.
Right. I don't think flanking makes too much difference to me because feint gives me advantage anyway, and I don't think double advantage is a thing. So
no, it isn't.
Yeah. I will, seeing that they don't tend to go for downed enemies, I'm gonna attack the one that's fighting Arendar. Makes more sense.
Well, they're just both fighting both of you in general, and neither of them is damaged. So
okay, the one that attacked Arendar this time is the one I'll try and hit. It's a flat roll. I need a 15. I rolled a 20.
Okay. Do we want to try and re-roll that or anything, or
no? I'm hoarding my XP.
Hoarding your XP. That's absolutely fine. Well, you're going to get attacked back for that then. So give me a flat defense, a defense roll at -3, please.
Okay, I need a 13. I rolled 15, which is a failure. Oh god.
Armor roll, please.
I'm gonna wish I spent that XP now. 3 and 3, so 6 armor.
Okay, that is enough. The Fey Beast bite crunches into your Lindworm cloak and doesn't manage to kind of envenomate you. It's a word. Elindra, knock one off your paralysis tracker, please. So 7 turns now.
Okay.
So I believe you rolled an 8, right?
Yep.
Revelia, on the other hand, she is being. She stars 2 of them on her, and go ahead and make an attack on one of them at flat rate.
Okay. They don't. She's not flanked.
Flanking doesn't decrease your chances of hitting. Only your chances of only increases your chances of being hit.
She unusually misses.
Okay. Revealing clearly in a holding pattern this round. And you've asked a very good question, but yes, I didn't say how much toughness you lost. It was 2.
Okay.
They don't do much damage, but by God, they put you down.
Do it for a long time.
Yeah, exactly. Ferrin, John, why don't you knock one off Ferrin's paralysis tracker, which moves it down to what, 4? Did he have 5? Yeah. And then it's your turn.
Okay. I am going to... they're both on full health, aren't they?
They are.
Then I'm going to attack one, which is just a flat, so 16. I'm going to spend an XP. I'm not taking a 20. 7.
Okay. And the damage?
Do this. 7.
That is past its pain threshold. Would you like another attack?
Yes.
Then you better take one.
Well, I will.
God damn it.
4 damage. It's a hit and 4 damage.
Well, that is exactly what you need. With 2 quick thrusts, another of the Fey Beasts lies dead on the floor. I am going to make another roll. Never mind. The Fortune Hunter, the one remaining Fortune Hunter, is going to strike out at one of the Fey Beasts, facing it and hitting it. One of the Fey Beasts fighting the Fortune Hunters now looks to be on its last legs, but the Fortune Hunter is now on their own as all their fellows are paralyzed, and their turn counters are being reduced. And then we're on the Fey Beasts again, folks. So let's have a look at what they do to that Fortune Hunter. I think it's safe to say that Fortune Hunter is downed with a... oh, no, that's wrong. What am I doing here? Yes, that. That Fortune Hunter is downed. Stio, as the self-nominated Fortune Hunter person roller, do you want to roll a d8 for me, please?
I'd really rather not. 4.
Okay, the last of the Fortune Hunters has collapsed to the ground, paralyzed by the assault of this pack of fey beasts. God, what else we got? Revelia. Can Revelia roll 2 defenses at -5, please?
Let's have a go. -5. Okay. Ooh, fail. And then I rolled a 1.
Okay, let's sort the 1 first for the chance at doing damage. So let's have her attack one of them back at a flat attack.
Fail.
Okay, and then let's roll her armor, please.
7.
Okay, that is absolutely fine. So she batters away the fey beasts. One of them kind of scrabbles and scrapes at her arm, but doesn't seem to pierce the armor. So that's sort of all right. Anton, 2 defenses from you at -5, please.
It's another 3, which just misses, and then 8, which misses.
Okay, so that's 2 armor rolls, please.
That's 9 and 7.
You feel just the warmth of Prios rushing through you at this point. You feel invulnerable. Prios's chosen priest fighting against these savage beasts, maybe only slightly aware of your companions dropping one by one around you and lying paralyzed on the cold stone floor of Farah as the dust of the last winter's snow gently blows through the door. You have one attacking you, please, Aaron.
So it's just the 1. Okay. At a -5. No, it's pass. It's pass.
Okay, which means you get an attack back, right?
Yes. And I'm currently flanking.
Yes,
well.
you are.
That's a hit. And 15 damage again.
Nice. That's crazy. Yeah, this basically, I'm just going to say this fey beast kind of leaps for you, and you just do. I think I've described you do it before, like a kind of duelist drop, where you essentially you lower yourself down on one knee, the other like leg spreads to the side of you, like you're doing like half splits, and you just thrust forward, and basically you're almost pulled off your feet by like you pierce this fey beast through, and your arm just like goes along the parabola of its leap. And as it does slides off your blade, you kind of sweep that leg round in a curve and stand up again, ready in a duelist stance. It looks very impressive, but probably no one but Askarai actually notices it. Well, the Fey Beast definitely noticed it. You can definitely say that. And we have 2 free Fey Beasts who are going to engage someone. Who have we got? We've got Aaron, we've got Askarai, we've got Stio, we've got Anton, we've got Revelia, and I think that's everyone now, right? So one of them is going to go for Aaron Dar, and one of them is going to go for Anton. So a bit of a split there. Aaron, roll another defense, please. And Anton, you might as well do it as well. They're both at Aaron's, yours is at -3, and Anton's is at -5.
Cool. Mine was a success.
Nice. Roll a counter attack.
That's 20. I don't think I have the experience to deal with it. I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it.
Okay, then you roll a defense as well. We'll hop to Anton quickly. Did you just say you rolled a 1, Anton? Yeah. You're on mute, by the way. Yeah, absolutely. God, this is getting complex. I'm just about holding on to it. Anton, roll your counter attack against the Fey Beast that just attacked you.
I make it.
Okay, how much damage do you do?
3.
Not enough. But as the Fey Beast comes towards you, you kind of try and fend this extra new attacker off with a wide swipe of your flail, and the like heavy hardened metal balls on the end of it kind of slam into its snout and leave it snuffling blood backwards as it retreats slightly, but still able to fight. Arindar, how did you cope with the extra attack against you?
I succeeded with the defense. Does that mean I get a second riposte?
Yes.
Yes.
Unless they're limited one per round, I guess so.
No, because I've got mastery.
Okay.
That is a hit. And is it still flanked?
Yeah. Oh no, it's not flanked. It's just engaged you, not Askarai yet.
Yeah. Then it's only 3 damage.
Okay. I'm not going to describe that. There was a flurry of blows back and forth, and it ended up with the Fey Beast slightly bleeding from a cut on its side. There we go. I still described it. I'm committed to the cause. It's 10 past 10.
The point is, I'm not lying face down on the floor bleeding.
There's only so many ways you can describe hyenas being hurt, and I've done all of them.
Oh,
Okay. Okay. I need to do a recount of Fey Beasts, because I think I might have lost track of a couple of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Plus that is that. So they've lost. No, I should have made 2 rolls there. So 1 is going to be at that, and 1 is going to be at that. Oh my god! These are the most dedicated Fey Beasts we've ever seen on this channel. Steo, you are unengaged. There are 3 Fey Beasts on Anton, 2 Fey Beasts on Revelia, 1 on Arindar, and 2 unengaged, having down the last Fortune Hunter. What are you doing?
I'm going to go and help my friend Anton.
Okay. So you can engage with one of them on this turn. Do you want to engage with the one that looks wounded? Actually, 2. One looks a bit wounded. One looks a bit more wounded.
Let me get rid of the a bit wounded one.
Okay. Okay. So you engage with that one and roll your long, please. Your long attack.
My long passes and does 3 damage.
Okay. Not enough.
Then my engagement attack is a 1.
Ooh.
That's 5 on the dice plus the d6. That's 10 damage in total.
Okay. You make contact with this Fey Beast, plunge your spear into its flank once, then twice again in the neck, and it reels back. It looks like it's about to leap for you and then just collapses on the ground. Carry on. These Fey Beasts are doing amazing work, folks. Amazing work.
Matt's taking quite a lot of psychic damage.
Askarai, friend, you are unengaged.
I'm gonna shoot some Fey Beasts. If there's any that are shootable, I'm gonna shoot them.
I would say the easiest ones to shoot are the 2 that remain unengaged, that have just downed the Fortune Hunter.
Okay, I'm gonna appoint the first one I shoot at as my Hunter's Instinct target,
Sure.
and I'm gonna try and shoot it.
Is this the one that seems wounded or the one that seems on its last legs?
We'll go for the wounded one first. I'm feeling
Sure.
pretty like I can take this. I roll a 3, which is a hit. The damage is a D10 plus a D4 for Hunter's Instinct, which is plus 1 for my bow, which is 8 damage.
Another Fey Beast collapses to the ground, and a howl goes up from the pack. A howl that echoes through the corridors of Fria Maroon and is returned by the sound of more Fey Beasts scrabbling down the corridor towards you, rounding the corner and entering the room, another, you can't count them off, there's more than 10. Come round the corner, another hunting pack emerging to finish what their comrades have started. They snarl, they hiss, they drip paralytic venom onto the floor. They start bounding towards you, and then they are met with the near silent hiss of a rain of arrows from the front entrance. Most of them drop to the ground. Others kind of skid to the floor and try and retreat. A couple of them, including a couple of the ones who were scattered among you, managed to scamper off between the columns out through the entrances, but a broken pack. You turn to see what could have possibly been your deliverance in this, and you see a group of individuals standing at the entrance to Fire Maroon. Some of you know exactly what you're looking at. Others, not so much. But what you see is a set of humanoid individuals dressed in soft silks, linens, and cottons, kind of slightly not dreary, but definitely colors that match the flow of the forest. Dark browns, dark greens, dark blues, soft drifting white hair in the winter snow moving around their pale, slightly feline features, standing slightly shorter with a man as the group of elves look at you with a mixture of curiosity and hostility. One of them standing in the center, the only one to not be wielding a bow, takes a step forward, and in the calm after this fight, only interrupted by the groans of those who are picking themselves up off the floor after being paralyzed, says in a soft voice that carries across the room, "You should not have come." And I think we will end the session there. Woo! Quite the fight, folks. Quite the fight. Chris is dead. He is turned into a pile of cuddly toys. We can safely take the initiative order off the screen. Thank you, John. If you have any comments or questions, please pop them into the chat and we will address them. In the meantime, some minor promotional stuff. Check down below for links. There's links to Twitch, links to YouTube. You watch this on one. Please check out the other. Twitch is where to catch us live. YouTube is where to catch our vast archive of actual play videos. There's other links there to social media, to Patreon, to Discord. Please have a look at those if those intrigue you. We currently run 2 campaigns weekly here on Twitch. Symbaroum on Wednesdays, that's what you were watching, and Vason on Mondays. We also run one-shots every month. Next one of them is on the 1st of April, Saturday the 1st of April. That's a week on this Saturday. And that's Dungeon World, which Pierre is running alongside both of these miscreants, either side of me here, plus Holly, who you may have seen in other one-shots. That is a sequel. So if you want to be fully up to date with it, I don't think you have to be, but if you want to be, then go check out the previous one shot of that in our YouTube archives. The next one shot after that will be on, I think we've set it on, a couple of people here are in it. Is it the 29th of April we're looking to do it? That rings a bell, right? Yeah, the 29th of April. And that's Goblin Quest, which I've looked forward to running for a long while, as I know other people have who are participating in it. Stephen especially is bubbling over with illness and excitement about it. So
in equal measure.
In equal measure. So there we go. Lovely stuff. All right. Comments and questions, please, John. Presuming the title for this episode will be The One with All the Fabies. It certainly will be if I choose to adopt the Friends title system. Yes. I don't, so it'll probably just be called Fabies. Antom's assless chaps, glittering assless chaps, not pictured in John's artwork.
But if you sign up to our Patreon...
Who knows what treasures lie in
definitely not those treasures, just for clarity.
John will
mass
draw
treasures.
anything for cash.
I've heard that.
Stephen, I forgot that the defense was coming from Blessed Shield. Just had a moment of imagining Anton waddling around in heavy leather battle shorts or something. That's the dream.
Short
And,
shorts,
and,
like
and
hot
now
ones.
you can all picture that too. So you're welcome.
Next. Ampersand D20 needs more hyenas. More hyenas. There were a total of 36 hyenas, but I decided that some of them were kind of guarding the cubs and stuff. So that was what that last wave was of the extra ones. Yeah, that's saved by elves. 42, new nickname for Aaron, the porcupine. Nice. I've got a stat block for assless chaps if you need them. You know what? I'm good.
Yeah, I think we're fine without that.
And you know what? We're good because we all have them as well. Individually, we have all homebrewed assless chap stat blocks.
We just
That's,
all picked assless chaps as our
It's
armor
like
class.
it's like crabs. It's just convergent evolution. Crabs and pyramids. You know, everything becomes a crab. Everything becomes a pyramid. Everything becomes assless chap stat blocks.
Well, they give you the greatest
Silence.
range of movement.
Absolute silence.
I think nailed it.
Nailed it. Spot on.
Good
Spot on.
episode, folks.
Yeah.
Tick.
John just makes me think about Homer Simpson's bear armor. Yeah. Bear armor, am I right?
I do like the idea of Anton like constantly about to die and Prius just being like, nope. Like
I think about it more him being like, oh,
this guy again. God.
this guy again. One of these days, bang, zoom, straight to the sun. Allowing 15 damage is ugly. Yeah, right?
In fairness, like we talk up Ascarai a lot, but Arendar
Yeah, well, Aaron's
has
like
numbers.
almost like more of a roguish character, right? It's like
Yeah.
the oh my god, I've forgotten the word for it. The a type of DPS.
Glass cannon?
No, not like
No?
spike DPS or
Damage over time. Dots.
Oh, dots.
no, the opposite of that. Like
Burst.
Burst, thank you.
Or alpha.
Yeah, the kind of burst damage where like you maybe hit a little less, and sometimes you just do kind of quite low level damage, but every other couple of hits you just nuke something.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the burst DPS. I mean, so is Ascaray.
I've tried to. I actually need to think about how I use Ferrin because he may be getting in the way a bit. I've tried to build Aaron in a way that he like gets almost hit a lot, but doesn't actually get hit, and therefore like he can hit several times per turn if he negotiates himself correctly.
Yeah.
I also realized about halfway through that I forgot about my master level acrobatics, which it could have potentially.
Oh, God,
it would
yeah,
have
you
in
could have-
fact just like one shot one of them. 'cause
Yeah,
they just,
you
like-
could have got Fey Beast to bite Fey Beasts.
Yeah, assuming the Fey Beasts aren't immune to their.
That's
their
an
own
interesting
venom.
question. We would have had to have that conversation. I don't know, but
Hmm.
they do have they have Resolute, Steadfast rather.
So they do get
Which they would have got a resist. I would have just used their Steadfast against it, I think. But yeah.
Is the disadvantage on the paralysis just like a Fey Beast thing? That is
Well,
class-
it's a trait of their paralyzing venom trait, which they
Right.
have at level 3, which is the equivalent of Master.
Okay.
So
That's
Lower levels of it don't have that. I think the
Yeah.
lowest level one is like just like you do a strong test, and it has no disadvantage, and if you pass it one, if you fail it, you basically can't do anything except reactive actions for D4 turns, and then the level 3 is this. Also, incidentally, like that, nothing but reactive actions for D4 turns. That's what you have to do if you pass their venom test.
God.
And then Paralysis Venom 2 is like somewhere in the middle of those two. I can't remember. I think it is effectively this, but without disadvantage or something like
That is brutal.
that.
So-
It's nasty.
So looking at the map that we've seen of Farama Ruin, this is we've maybe seen one room out of what 30 spaces.
I haven't counted them, but there are a lot. I would say there's definitely between 30 and 50 rooms in Farum Marine.
Cool. This
I will
is
say
fine.
it's not as much of a dungeon crawl as that might make you think, because Symbaroum, like, I will definitely say it's not like there's something in every room. Like, it's not like, into the Ardor.
No, some rooms have 36 things.
Sure. And each room has 36 Fey Beasts. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
There we
10
go.
elves.
Have we got anything else? Oh, yes, we do. Allowing in fights like this, Prios Burning Glass would be nice as AoE of some kind. It definitely would be, as would Brimstone Cascade, which obviously isn't particularly a Theurg thing, but that does the same. Like at level 2 of that, you can, like, the Cascade part of it comes in. So if you hit one enemy, you then roll to hit another, to hit another, to hit another, to hit another until you fail.
We do kind of lack AoE as a group. In
Yeah.
general.
Antom has AoE if you're fighting abominations or undead, but if not, nope. Yeah. Cool. All right. Thank you very much for watching, folks. Thank you for indulging that more or less session-long fight. We've had a few of them recently. I always say this. I hope they are entertaining. I think this one was, because it did feel like it could verge on the TPK side of things. But hopefully that was entertaining for you with a nice, fun ending. We'll be back next week for more Symbaroum. So take care, stay safe, and join us then. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.